So this is what we're seeing right here. You can see the camera view being orthographic, pointing to this square, which represents our workspace. Down here, it's our subtitling, which follows whatever the voice acting said. Let's pretend for just a second that this is just voice acting, right? The simple sound. So if I play it back, you can read Blender is cool for storyboarding. Awesome. So now that you have seen how this works, we can apply this to something more revolutionary. For example, let's say that you're animating and then you get the scene, you get the script, you get to paint, you get to insert the audio voice, and now you're going to subtitle it so you can know where the sequences will be cut. Welcome to another exciting video, and we're going to start with the basics of text here in Blender. So if you're an advanced user, you can jump directly to minute 14. You can click Shift A and then just add text right here. When you do that, you're going to be greeted, if you're in the front view, with this. But the text is created to be seen from the top view. This is easily fixed by just pressing 1, selecting the object, as you can see right here, then press RX90, and then you can see your text in the front orthographic view. But how do you edit? Where do its properties live? First of all, we got the properties. If you click here, you will see a lot of different options, and you can even identify your text. This is going to be, for example, named as sample text. And this is just the name of the object data, but it's not the data container itself. That's why you can continue to see text in here. So you can just easily drag and drop this, and now scene level data and object level data are named exactly the same. And this is very important because whenever you export things from Blender, this is what you're going to see out there. In your other 3D package, your AR package, whatever, your content creation application will see this, not this. The next step is to go through these options, but we need to edit the text. And you can come here to Object and then just click on Edit Mode. In previous videos, I have explained that the object interaction level will depend on the context of whatever you have selected in Blender. That means that if you have a bone selected, you will only have bone interactions around it. For example, weight painting, editing, posing, and right now, since we're dealing with only text, if you press Tab for your object menu, you're only going to have the edit option. So when you're in edit mode, you can see this cursor, text cursor, being available for you so you can edit this thing. So let's go and let's play something fancy like, I don't know, let's just Blender is cool. Press enter again, exit. Now you can continue to manipulate your viewport as you wish. For example, in my case, shift middle mouse will pan, roll the mouse wheel, zoom, press middle mouse button, you're going to go into 3D view. Let's go into the properties. So the most important thing right here is this tab called font. If you open this font, this is where all of the properties of this text live. For example, where is this going to find the regular font? And right now it's set to B font, Blender font, but you can change it to whatever you like. Let's say, for example, I'm going to press shift and left arrow. So the regular font, you find it here. If you click this folder, you will go into your fonts, Windows fonts in my case, and you can select any other font you want. For example, let's pick this one, Source Sans Pro. Then I open the font. If I choose italic and this font has italic function, then I will see it. And the same goes for all of the other options that you have right here. You can control the size right here for all of the fonts. Okay, and that's that. You can also have paragraph functions such as aligning to left, center, justify, whatever, and vertical as top, baseline, or center, or bottom, whatever you wish. And you can also have the character spacing, okay, which is very cool for animation, motion graphic animation. So I like it like this. Blender is cool. Yeah, let's go for that. Wouldn't it be amazing if you had just a timeline down here and you can just switch this option? Let's say I'm going to do a quick monkey right here. 3 to filter select the face, XF. Alright, yeah. So Blender is cool. Wouldn't it be cool that if you were making storyboards, push play, and then you can see whatever scene it's being described in this text. For example, this one's going to last for 20 seconds, and in here we're going to Shift D duplicate for storyboarding. What about that? Now let's hide all of this. This one's the one that is active. Tab, edit. Let's edit that for storyboarding. Nicey. Tab, edit. That way you can have Blender is cool up to 1 to 20, and 21 onwards we will see for storyboarding. How do you do that? Go over here to where your monitor is, right click on this and insert keyframe. So you can see this has switched colors in a green color, and now I'm going to go to frame 21 down here, frame 21 by pressing the right arrow key in the keyboard, and you can see this has been switched off. So click there, right click, insert the keyframe. So now you have a keyframe for off, and if you go back, press the right arrow key, the left arrow key in your keyboard, you're going to see this green and then your monitor on. That monitor on or monitor off means the visibility options. And yes, you can just right click on this and just replace the keyframe. So where is that? Why are we not seeing that down here in the F-curve editor if we have it so selected? You can then see that the channel, the object is right here. If you drop this down, let me just maximize this and let me just show you how it's done. Press home to focus, and then you can see the subframes here. This is frame 20, this is frame 21, and we can see all of the subframes. I have explained how we can go into subframing in other videos, so you can check those out. And we have the action right here, Blender is cool action, and that action has to do with disable it in the viewports. You can see it right here. So you can see the eye activated, and if I go here, then the eye is deactivated because it's no longer active. Okay, so if you select that, even if you have it selected, it will disappear. For some reason, Blender, whenever the text that the object is not visible anymore in the viewport, it just automatically switches it off from the animatable parameters here. I don't know if that's an expected behavior or something that must be addressed. But whenever you lose visibility, then you do not have its options or properties or F-curves shown anymore in the view in the graph editor. Now for the next part, let's activate all of these options, and sure enough, on frame 21 this will become visible. So the monitor is already on. Right click, insert the keyframe, but it has to be invisible on the previous frame, so click left arrow in your keyboard. You're going to go back into your frame 20 down here, and the monitor is still on, so let's click it to switch it off, and then right click it to insert the keyframe. So as you can see now, if you play it back, Blender is cool for storyboarding. Look at that. What if you could add your voiceover? That's pretty easy. Now let's go into a video sequencer. This is the Blender V theme. Your video sequencer may look something different. Now you only need to know that you can switch to the video sequencer, Shift A, and then add a sound. So I'm going to navigate to my sounds folder. I'm going to just select a classic, like for example this one. I hope that this will get recorded. So let's play it back. So the sound is added. If you press Control and middle mouse, you can zoom, and if you press Shift middle mouse, you can pan inside here. Control middle mouse again, and this is what I want. If I go up or down, you can zoom in or zoom out in this way. So I can see here in seconds, but if you don't want that, you can press just Control T. This will switch back to frame numbers. If you want to see your wave, you can come here into View, Show Waveforms, Waveforms on. I guess this is something that I cannot manage to leave as default if you do not have waveforms in your sequencer. So that's something that the Blender V theme cannot include, but this should be on. So let's play it back and let's see how it does. Fantastic! Isn't that amazing? So now let's just picture that you have 2D and 3D animation going on inside this square, which will represent your camera view. Now let's go for that. Control Alt 0. This has now become your camera view. Okay? If you if you select your camera and you are going to switch from perspective to orthographic, then we will get the exact same positioning than the other orthographic camera. There is the grid. We can see the grid back here. Press 0, and now we have gone back to camera orthographic. So let's just say that our monkey, or whatever thing the action is going on right here. I'm going to scale this, by the way. As you can see, right now my text is set on this side because I have the alignment set to left. But if I go to center, it immediately goes into the center of that origin point. I'm going to do the same for Blender School. So press N to continue fixing the camera. Camera to view, rendered region. Press N, press home, and now this everything that you see here is what it's going to be render. So I'm going to make this much clearer by doing this as X. Let's see, and let's pretend this is our workspace, okay? So this is where all of your 3D animation happens, and you can also like open a new window right here. See, this is what I usually do to focus my stuff. I hide by right-clicking in between that space. I hide the header, and I press home, so I know that everything that is contained there is going to be my camera. From the camera view, let me see if I can just show it. You can see the camera view being orthographic right here. It's pointing to this square, which represents our workspace, and down here it's our subtitling, which follows whatever the voice acting said. Let's pretend for just a second that this is just voice acting, right? The simple sound. So if I play it back, you can read Blender School for storyboarding. Whenever we're dealing with the background, as you could see right here, the background for me in shaded view did not favor my production. In the background, you can change visually to white, just as you were doing 2D animation, but the background will sometimes change, and you do not have an infinite white space back there. You need to create it or fill it with white, and then position it according to the text, right? T. Let's move this back here as X. Yes, sure, but what happens when you have two lines of dialogue? What happens when there is more than just one single phrase? What happens when you want to text box this, but the box needs to switch every time on every switch of frames? You need to, do this or do that. It's going to be a mess to insert the visual plane or have a big black box here all the time when there's just few text. So you can see all of the problems this represents, right? So that's where object to text comes in. Now that you have seen the basic presentation, let's get into object to text. So that's where object to font comes into play. From the Blender Help menu, it says that it allows individual objects to be used to render fonts, and you can create your own text family. And the way to do that is to create the font characters first, or the objects. It could be anything. It could be a mesh, a curve, anything you can create, a sculpt, whatever. They must all have the following naming scheme: common prefix followed by the character name. Common prefix will be the name of your given font, and then you need to set the name as FT. For example, if the font name is called FT, you will call that ft.a, ft.b. If you're going to call your font, I don't know, like science fiction, it will be then science fiction family.a, science fiction family.b. You get the idea. For the text object, enable instancing vertices. Instancing vertices, because that's what Blender is going to use to locate every type character. In the font lab, fill the object font field with the common prefix, that is your family font name or whatever you want to name your family font of your font object. Now, each time a character in your text matches the suffix part, the suffix is the end, right? .b, .a, whatever. Each time the character matches the suffix part of the font object's name, this object is duplicated into this character. The objects are duplicated so that their center is always positioned at the lower right corner of the corresponding character. So in my experience, I did not see this happening. I saw it happening on this other side, as I mentioned before. But the guide says that you need to keep in mind that you're going to have this whenever you're duplicating the content of this object. The next logical thing to do is to find out if there is already a script that can grab, for example, a script like this one and convert it somehow to our timeline as we're seeing right here. Okay, I have this 2D character. Let's go into object mode. I'm going to press / in my numpad to go out of this, and this is what we're seeing on solid view. So my problem here was that even though I found out a family type that was named color basic for the regular, and bold was using a different font, he switched to shaded view. You can see the character right here. I'm not going to move the camera, but the character right here has the black background. It's got this squarish text, but it needs the space to have a black space as well. And this font originally did not have a black space, so that this will go as a subtitle. So what I did was to create this entire set of font mesh to do that job for me. So I have the letter, and then I have a contrast black box in each of the characters where I type. So the idea here is that this text will get translated automatically into the timeline following this audio, okay? And I have markers to determine where the changes are going to be. So right now, if I press play, alright, enough. So as you can see there, all the action scenes should be happening here in 2D animation. But there is this problem that you cannot see this very clear. So even if I switch off all of the layouts, all of the things around this, okay, we will still have this problem. Let me save this file. And so we arrive at the solution: objects to text. Let me show you how this works from the beginning. I'm going to switch off all of my subtitling fonts, and I'm going to describe what I have here on the camera. First of all, I have a master type text, which is my demo text, so that everything that I create will match the exact same font. And why you do this craziness, Mr. Schiller? Because I need what we call a contrast font with contrast box, so that I could just type my whatever thing I want to do in the subtitling of my animation, and it will have immediate reaction with a contrast box like you're seeing right here. This is what I'm looking for. Nowhere in the internet there is this available, so I'm going to make this available for you. So now you know how to use it. So I have my master's text, and then I have the letter Q. So what is this letter Q? I created a subtitling font collection where all of my letters are living right now. Okay? And my font family, it's called subtitling underscore and A for capital A. Subtitling underscore A for just regular A size. And you do the same for each of these letters. Right now, I'm not showing them, but I can show you like this. Let's go for the Q letter. OPQ. Here we go. And the one that I'm editing right now is this one. So I selected, press period on the numpad, and then you can see this is already floating out here in the collection. It's still not in the subtitling font, because as soon as I finish editing, then I'm going to move it into the subtitling font. That's why we didn't find it here. OPQ, this is the lowercase q, and this is the uppercase q. And that is how I'm going to be naming this. So I am comparing, because I have a secondary text right here, which has the text showing with this font. So I guess Q is okay. Q is good. Subtitling, the name of my font family, underscore Q. Now I'm going to move that into the collection. Press M and it's going to go into the subtitling font collection. And once it's there, I can just switch it off. I'm going to switch it off here. It's not going to be selected. Okay? So as you can see, it's pretty much done. I'm still missing some of the capital letters. This one is capital, 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 capital. And now all of my fonts have been completed. But you say, Mr. Schiller, your original problem was that you did not have a space, a black space determined into your font. So how do you type space? Well, literally, you type space. Press F2, and then you have this underscore with nothing but a space. Is there a space? Yes, there is. Look at that. There is a space there. Blender is so smart, okay, that I literally just placed the name of my font family, underscore, blank space, enter. And that is how it knows that it needs to be using that. Okay, Mr. Schiller, I already got clear what I need to do. I need to create every object with capital letters and then with lowercase letters. They need to have the font family name first, underscore, and then the name of the character which they are going to be representing. Blender is going to pick up that depending on the character that I'm typing. I'm getting all that clear. But now, what are the properties for the text to be converted to? What are the properties that master type text has? Because you read that we need to activate the vertex thing, and I don't know where that is. Let's review that. If you click here for the object properties, let's contract everything. There is this little box called instancing, and this will be set to none when you click it here. You need to click here on vertices. Once you click that on vertices, everything you type or everything you do, everything you write with master text type text, then you will see your letters react accordingly. I'm going to Shift D, duplicate this, and I'm going to be calling this from here. Press F2, F2, and then I'm going to call this display my text. That is how it's going to be called. Now press enter to edit this text. I'm going to be deleting all of this. Control A, delete, and now I'm going to say this is my new subtitling family text. Press tab, go out of edit mode, and there you have it. You have typed your font, and now it's time to use it. So how do we use it? In your properties for your text, and down here in font, it doesn't matter whatever you have here, because this is the text that is going to be displayed in the viewport, but this is the text that you're going to be rendering with. Open up transform, object font, and type the name of your subtitling font, or rather your font family, which is subtitling font. Okay, so object font is going to be this subtitling. I just place this as the font name of the family. Enter. Now subtitling, it's active. Whatever subtitling underscore and then the next letter comes, then this is going to be shown. Yeah, Mr. Schiller, but I don't see anything. Why don't I see anything? Okay, you don't see anything because, as you can see, all of these monitors are switched off. If I switch them on right now, all of these monitors are switched off. If I switch on all of these monitors, then we will see our entire characters being displayed. Okay, so now that they are all active, I'm going to click here and then I'm going to choose to hide my subtitling font family. And as you can see, there are some problems that we need to address and fix. Not all of the fonts are correctly aligned. Okay, this one is aligned, this one is aligned. So how do we know where we need to act? Let's go from the beginning. Let's switch them all off again. We're going to be switching this on one by one. One clear problem that we have right now is that the T font is not working. It's not working at all. Capital T has a problem. So let's go there, activate that, and as you can see, that's the text doing its job at vertex level. But where is this object? This is a specific object called subtitling T. I placed it down here. And as you can see, it's still reading the other text. Let's switch that off as well. Okay. And this object right here, that T object, if you click on selection, it's down here. Okay? I created all of this text from the 0 position of the world, and I have it right here. So now that we have located our object, I created this object. I just randomly placed this object, put a square, did a box trim, and placed a white background. As you can see, there are two planes there. One plane, two planes. This object specifically has two materials. I'm going to show you the materials. So this is the front material for all of this box, and the back material, it's just a white box. Diffuse white constant box emission, whatever you want to call that. So that's that, but it's wrong. Okay, so we need to fix that. That's why I go here, switch to my wireframe view, and as you can see, the T is way far off, way far off. So I'm going to select this one, I'm going to grab it, I'm going to make it closer to here so I can edit my object, which is being used here. I select my object, press tab, enter into edit mode, and now I'm going to locate the T correctly. But Mr. Schiller, if you change that, how do you know how all the other letters align into this? Shouldn't you activate another letter that will give you the corresponding size and width? Yes, sir, you can do that. Indeed, you can do that. As a matter of fact, let's show how it's done. So I'm going to activate the S letter. And as you can see, it's exactly the same size. And it's placed exactly in the same position that you see right here. Let me just activate selection from this arrow. Okay, so we have T and then we have the S. Wait, this is lowercase s. Okay, this is the one that we're interested in. Uppercase S. So uppercase S and uppercase T are exactly the same. So why is it that we're getting a wrong display up here? Because we have not applied their transforms. Press N, as you can see right here in item. S has rotation 000, scale and stuff, but T, which has the same thing, has not been transformed. So it's most likely that S has this problem. Let's go with A. Let's see how that compares. Select and view. So okay, we can see that A has the same square than T has the same square area. Okay, I can see something different here. A has already scale of 1 and T does not. You can see it right here. The axis point is smaller than this axis point that is right here. This one is appropriately scaled, but this one is not. And that is why we always need to go to Object, Transform, Apply, Object, Apply, Apply all transforms. And now we get a correct scale T. Now let's go and see what happened here. Control A, apply scale. Fantastic. By only applying a scale, the scale is now correctly displayed exactly like A. You can see this here, right? A scale is 1, and now T is display scale 1. Now let's go with the letter H. Let's use A and let's hide letter T. Of course, we want this all to render. Now let's unhide letter H. Lowercase h. This is lowercase h, selected, activated. So as you can see, it immediately appeared over here. Let me switch this to solid view. So see, this is the problem. That's why I don't work in solid view. I always work here in wireframe view, because I know if this square is there and it's matching with the A right here, then that letter is okay. Now let's go with lowercase I. It is there. The boxes are matching, height, that's all we care for. Now let's unhide space, okay, which is this one, render, show in the viewport, and make it selectable. It's there. It's fantastic. Look at that. Now let's unhide the letter S so we can see it. Lowercase s, we can see it selected and see it on the viewport. And as you can see, it fits. Now let's do the same thing with capital T. Selected. I want to see it, select it, and view it on the viewport. Perfect. Look at that. And now let's switch this. And then you have finally your text over black background. It doesn't matter whatever phrase you type, it is always going to match this one. Switch it off, switch off the S, and we're left with the space, okay, and the letter M and A. So why do we need the A? Because of the width. Why do we need the space? Because of the height. Select the M, press enter, press tab, going to edit mode, and from here I'm going to be grabbing all of this in box select. And what I usually do is like to grab this top, press G, Z, press G, Y. I don't know why in this case it works like this. Should be Z up. And Mr. Schiller, but there are tools to snap onto other vertices. Why don't you use that? Yes, I can use that. G. But I'm going to be using that when I am finished with all of this. Otherwise, it will be correction over correction, and I don't like to do that. Once they are all about the same size, I can just go into edit mode for all of them and then just set one single up and down alignment. That's a quicker way to work with a bunch of things that you can modify. So as you can see, I'm not going to do this GX because the letter M does not need to have all this empty space to the right. It is good where it's there already. It only needs the up and down case. And the way we need to compare how much it needs to grow is because of this. This is going to give me the reflection, or rather the proportion for which the letter has to grow. Press B to box select the letter M, and then I'm going to scale it. I'm going to be scaling it, and then G and reposition it until I hit the correct size. I'm looking at this, not at this. I'm looking at this so that this could be correctly positioned. And as you can see, the X line right here gives me the global position of this. So I'm going to press G, X. I'm going to be moving this somehow over here, and that's approximate enough. S, press Shift to scale this just little by little, and then again reposition this to the X axis of the line, which seems to do the trick. Okay, so now just select this vertex and this other vertex, press G, X, and move it to somewhere around there until you can see that this line does not interfere with the other one. Alt A, press B, press G, X. Now I'm going to be moving this somewhere over here. Perfect. Enter, tab, exit edit mode, and you can see this still is not aligned as we expected. Probably we went overboard with the size. So again, go back into object mode. Oh, actually, we need to size it even more. So press S. I'm going to do this like this and position it right here. Like I mentioned before, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get close enough, like this case. Perfect. It's all cool. It's all cool. So now we have the M letter corrected. Fantastic. Let's go for Y. Lowercase y. Selection and view. This one also has a problem. So let's hide the letter M now, because we corrected that. Let's go with Y. And we face the same thing. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that scale is correct, set to 1. Enter the object toggle thing. Press B, grab those, G, Y. Letters for your own animations in motion graphics. That's why I'm showing you this. But the extent of use, it's far more than just motion graphics. Always save your file. Lowercase s, perfect. Lowercase I, perfect. Lowercase h, show the viewport, perfect. Capital letter T, perfect. Lowercase m, let's go for that one. Let's see how it does. Perfect. Lowercase n, marvelous. Lowercase e, yes. Lowercase w, perfection. Lowercase u, awesome. Lowercase b. So now finally we can have this has been an amazing tutorial. Oh, so we've come to the conclusion of the tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed all of the process that we created. Do not forget that whenever you're creating your main text, the one that is going to be receiving all of your text objects, don't forget that you have to come here into the geometry properties of it, and under instancing, mark vertices. And also during the assignment for the properties of the text, do not forget that's over here on this icon over here, and then you're going to open up font and come all the way down to object font, and then you can use the name of the font family you have created. In my case, I name my font family subtitling underscore. With that subtitling underscore, you can then use the suffix to tell Blender which letter is going to be that object. Specifically, I have written this in subtitling underscore A in capital A, and also subtitling underscore lowercase a. So you can see it right here, and that's exactly how Blender identifies this object for you to write any kind of subtitling from here on directly on your viewport. Thank you very much for your support to this channel, and I want to tell you a little secret. Whenever you press that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell button, the algorithm calculates and grabs the data that it needs to feed you the best content related to this kind of tutorials, and of course the video content from my channel directly. So all of your support is greatly appreciated, and do it for yourself because you're gonna get even more amazing Blender content like this one. Thank you very much and have a great day.